Hi, all. Happy Friday. Hope you're all doing well and staying safe. Those of you working on site, last day of the quarter. It's a unique situation to have this interesting setup as we're trying to get the last few items out the door and get a big push for today. That being said, everybody that's coming in on second shift today, know that we've got a slightly different protocol going on today just because the large amount of shipments that are going out. We're going to allow the folks in shipping and receiving that are on first shift to stay a little bit later today. We have completely quarantined and quadrant off the shipping and receiving area from quality and from the rest of the shop. So if you're coming in the building on second shift, do not come in the back door, come in the CAF, come in the side door, come in the front door, and go up to the CAF to get your temperature taken. We're going to avoid anybody on second shift interfacing with anybody on first shift in those areas. So if you're in the shop, if you're in quality on second shift, do not come into the shipping area until the shipping and receiving team has left for the day and completely sanitized that area. Face masks. Carol has provided to the company, both on first shift and second shift, to Brian and Scott and management team, some additional protocols on proper usage of the masks. We're getting some good information about how long you can use them for, how to properly store them. So all that information has been disseminated, but please, please, please make sure that when you are wearing your masks, you're wearing them properly. Getting reports of people having them on their chins, not having them on properly, not being pinched appropriately on the top. Please, does us no good to have you wear the masks but not wear them appropriately. A couple other things. We've been getting a lot of kudos on the external side of the house for the things that we're doing, the measures that we are taking. There's a whole group of a big survey that was done. A lot of responses came in, and we're certainly on the forefront of the things we're doing. Some guidance has been given for those companies that are taking individuals' temperatures, that the proper number to be looking at is 100.4. We've been looking at 100.0, so we've altered our process to talk about 100.4 degrees. If you're below 100.4, you can stay on site. Above 100.4 is when we should be sending you home or to the walk-in to go get your temperature verified. So that procedure has been changed. Also, some additional information, clarity is coming on about the 14-day self-quarantine period. So if there are folks that do go out and are self-quarantined for 14 days, but at the end of the 14-day period still does not feel well, then there's additional protocols being put in place that you can stay home, continue to stay home, but you obviously need to have a doctor's note so that we can bring it back on site. But also make sure I have a doctor's note to say that, especially if you aren't feeling well, that we have that note to put on file as well for proper documentation. Thanks to everybody that's done the surveys. Really good response rate. All but 4 offsite employees did the survey, and all but 2 onsite responded to the survey. So that's pretty good response rate. So I really appreciate that. The good news is that 97% of the entire workforce either agrees or strongly agrees with the measures that we are taking to protect our employees. So I feel good about that. I would like that to be 100%, but right now 97% means that the vast majority of anybody that's in this business feels we're doing the right things. And same thing with the communication. Really good feedback about these videos and about the frequency of the communication. So I appreciate that. We basically have pretty much all but one person in the company that feels that way. So the one individual that doesn't, it's fine. I'm glad you're able to voice it. If there's something else that you'd like to see or that you can recommend to make this more effective for you, feel free to let your supervisor know. We're certainly willing to make some additional changes. And the good news is, for those working off site, all but 2 people feel they're able to be productive. So for the 2 individuals that don't feel you could be productive, you got to let us know why if you haven't already. Make sure your supervisor knows. Make sure if it's connectivity issues with VPN, with email, with Epicor, make sure you put a ticket in with Charles IT and communicate directly with them. So that is absolutely something that we feel good about as well, that we're moving in the right direction. We've got a lot of people that can be productive. Some of the open questions on the feedback. A lot of folks working off-site, or a bunch of folks working off-site, is looking for more direct one-on-one with your manager. Make sure they know that. So part of that's on YouTube. Make sure they know that you need one-on-one and schedule it. You all know how to set up meetings. Schedule a one-on-one time with your supervisor. Do it, whether it's using 3CX, the phone, or if you want to do video conferencing, set up that meeting with your supervisor. Also some good feedback relative to folks working off site needing to get a hold of people on site. Very few people are at their desks, especially shipping and receiving. They're busy all day. Quality. Use people's cell phones. So try, if you're on first shift, if you can't get a hold of anybody, call Scott. If you don't have Scott's cell phone number, email him. Get it from him. Same thing with Brian Carr. Same thing with Clem. Those are folks that are, they're moving all day long. They're not at their desks. They're not able to pick up the phone. They have a phone, but their cell phone should be very reachable. So get their cell phone numbers and call them. I had one individual say that they are not able to watch these videos. They don't have a smartphone. So I will start to send these video links on email as well, which I knew that days ago I could have implemented that. So I'm sorry you didn't get a chance to hear all the messages that we've had so far. And also another request, a couple of requests came in that folks don't know who's working first shift and working second shift. I know Carol sent an email out with the entire roster back on March 13th. She just sent it out again a few minutes ago, so everybody should have that in their inbox. Obviously a lot of focus have been on, my messages and our protocol has been on protecting our workforce, that we can continue to build product and ship it to our customers. Please know that the safety is also the same, and the intent of everybody working off site is not only to not to limit the risk to our on-site employees, but it's also protect our off-site employees. So if you're working from home, that means we want you to be home and really only leave your house for essentials and for emergencies. This is not the time to be driving around town and hanging out with people. We want you safe too. We want you at your house, productive with your family, but ultimately to stay safe, to help flatten this curve. And as we get some more insight into when we can actually come back to full staff and have everybody back on site, just as many protocols that we've put in place in order to stay productive with the 2 shifts and everybody off site, we're also going to have processes in place to properly bring everybody back, to make sure that the equipment that's at home is sanitized and be able to bring back inside. And we'll do the same thing with everything that's in-house. We'll do a very good deep cleaning, just like we do on a daily basis. So again, thank you for your feedback. Thank you for filling out the surveys. Thanks for trying to be as productive as possible. Those of you on site, keep it going. Keep cranking parts out. End of the quarter is today and tomorrow. It's tough to not be able to have all hands on deck like we typically do. So kudos to everybody that's doing everything you can to make sure this quarter ends properly. Thanks. Have a good weekend. Bye.